Hi, this is Valerie Hector. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a Chinese beaded oval bead, okay? Which you can then use in a necklace, either string them on a neck wire or use them as earrings, okay? Where did I learn this? Many years ago, I collected this little beaded gourd in China. It's made of plastic beads, and in China, gourds represent abundance and a lot of other good things, okay? So like any beader would, I looked at this part of it and I thought, well, we could, abstract this. We can take this out and create a separate element. So I started doing that, okay, the top of the gourd. I've made them in sterling silver beads, in Czech fire polish, in Czech drucks, in Czech rondelles, and in metal beads. These are American-made metal beads, size 8 here, that make beautiful little ovals. Okay, so let me show you how. Each oval takes 45 beads. We'll leave these here for inspiration. I'm going to use these size 8 American-made metal beads here. They have really nice ample holes. It all begins with a ring of 6 beads. Okay, so I've strung 6 beads on the end and slid them down to the end of the thread and then gone around a few times to create a circle, to create a ring of 6 beads. Okay, this is like how a daisy chain might start. All right, and I've gone up to the opposite end here, though it doesn't really matter where you begin. We're going to string 5 beads. Slide them down here. Okay, and then we're going to go back through the same bead that we're coming out of. Okay, that's this bead right here. Okay, see how easy this is? Once you get the hang of it, you can go really fast. All right, so now we have 2 rings on, but we have to stitch through these beads to go back up to this bead here, which is where we're going to start adding the next ring. All right. So now, great. We've got 2 rings of 6 in place. I'm going to add the 3rd ring by stringing on 5 beads here, sliding them down, making sure I really have 5. Sometimes I add 6, sometimes I add 4, okay? Easy to make a mistake here. Go back through the bead we just came out of. Navigate back up to this bead here so that we can add the next ring. Now, if I were making one of these for real, I'd be reinforcing each ring probably 2 or 3 times because, as I said, the holes in these metal beads are pretty ample. All right, but for the purposes of this video, I'm not going to emphasize reinforcing that much, okay? I'm going to emphasize building the structure. You can build it first and reinforce it later. Okay. All right, so now we have 3 rings of 6 beads in place. We're going to add the 4th ring. What we're building here, as you may know, it's called a hexagonal ladder. It's a ladder that has 6 beads per ring, okay? I'm sure you already know how to make a right angle weave ladder. And if you don't, you might want to learn, just watch a YouTube video on that. All right. Now I'm going to reinforce once so that this ladder stays in place when we take the next step, which is to turn the ladder into a ring or a tube, okay? I'll show you how to do that if you don't know already. All right, so we're coming out of this bead here, and I'm going to add 2 beads. This is the way I learned when I was, I don't know, maybe 10 years old or 11. And this is the way I've always done it. There are probably other ways to do it, but this is the way that keeps me sane, okay? So I've added 2 beads, and I'm going to go down through the bead that's the opposite of this one on the other end, which is this bead here. And then I'm going to pull gently. I want you to be able to see, to set this up in your mind so that you'll never again forget how to do it. You won't need to watch another video. You'll know how to turn a ladder into a ring, a symmetrical ladder into a symmetrical ring, okay? And I just added 2 more beads, okay? And now I'm going back through the bead that's the opposite of that, which is this, okay? And then I'm going to pull gently, gently pull so that the thread doesn't tangle, okay? Keep pulling until what you have is, instead of a ladder, you've got a ring, okay? It's a floppy ring. It's a wobbly ring. It needs a lot of reinforcement, but it's reinforcing. But it's a ring, nonetheless. I'm going back through the ring I just created by adding those 4 beads, 2 on either side. And then I'm going to show you how to start building the end, okay? Meaning this right here, this portion, okay? Both ends look alike. So once you've built one, you can go on and build the other. All right, a little more reinforcing here, maybe, I feel like. And you know what? I'm just going to snip this tail because it could get annoying. Go a little more. Reinforce a little more. And we're going to be in position to create the end, okay? I'm going to go up through this bead here, which sits in the, is it the northeast corner of this ring? But I want you to know you could also go through this bead here, all right? Same difference. It sits in the northwest corner of this ring. Hey, let's go there. All right, now I'm going to, all of the rings on the ends here are made of 5 beads each, okay? So these are all rings of 5. There are 5 rings of 5. Now, step 1 is to add 3 beads, okay? Why 3? Because 2 beads are already in position waiting for us, okay? Now I'm going to go through this bead here, slowly pull, check that I've actually got a ring of 5 beads. Yeah, I do. That's great. Go through this bead here, and then go through this bead here, and this bead here. And now I'm in position to add the second ring, to create the second ring of 5 beads. This time 3 beads are already in place. 1, 2, 3. So we just have to add 2 beads, okay? And we're going to go down through this bead. When you're not sure, do an experiment, test it out, see. Am I creating a ring of 5 beads? Does this look symmetrical? Does it look correct? Well, yeah, it does. So you did the right thing. And if you didn't, you'll just undo it. All right, now I'm going to navigate over to get into position to add the 3rd ring in the end. Okay. Have a bit of kinked up thread there. That's all right. Could deal with that later. I would suck this into one of the bead holes, but later on. Or stitch it into one of the bead holes to make it invisible. Great. So we now have 2 rings of 5 beads in place. We're in position to create the 3rd ring. So we're going to add 2 beads and go down through this bead here, all right, to create the next ring of 5 beads. See how fast this is? Now we're going to close up the ring. You know, a well-formed ring has thread around, circling around all of the beads. Okay, not just some of them. Now we're going to navigate over to get into position to add the 4th ring of 5 beads. Go through this bead here. Whoop. Go through this bead here. And pull. Now 3 beads are already in place, so we know we just have to add 2. We'll go down through this bead here. and work our way over. Close the ring, make sure it has thread. Thread connects all of the beads in the ring, and navigate over into position to create the 5th and final ring. And go up through this bead. Now this time around, 4 of the beads are already in place for our 5th ring. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're only going to add 1 bead to close up this ring. Go down here, circle around, go up here. We want to navigate to the very end of this, okay? Why? Because look at these 5 beads here. They're not connected. They're added. They're in place, but they're not connected. So we're going to go ahead and connect them. Doesn't matter how you connect them. Start to the left, start to the right, just so long as you connect them, okay? And then I would reinforce a few times, depending on how large your holes are, okay? So at least these 5 beads are now connected, all right? And then I'm going to navigate to the other side. I'm going to navigate to one of these beads here and build the other end of the oval. Or at least I'll start building it anyway. Doesn't matter how you navigate there, doesn't matter at all. But you've got to be coming out of either this bead here, okay, or this bead here. In other words, going to the left, stitching to the left, stitching to the right, doesn't matter. Maybe this time we'll stitch to the left. See how we're splitting a pair of beads? Watch for that in this technique. See how often what you're doing is splitting a pair. And that's correct, all right? So we know that we want to create the first ring of 5 beads. We can see that 2 beads are already in place for us. That's this one, and this one, okay? So we're going to add 3. And then stitch back down through this bead to create our first ring of 5. Navigate over to get into position to add the second ring of 5. Go down through this bead here. Navigate over to get into position to add the third ring. And our oval is really floppy. It's really loose right now. But when you make it for yourself, you have the option of reinforcing as you go or waiting until the end to do your reinforcing. And what we're doing here is pretty much waiting till the end, okay? So I've added 2 beads. I'm going down through this bead here. Always forming rings of 5. And then we're going to finish our 5th ring by navigating over and adding just 1 bead. close this ring. Okay, so this ring is closed. Everything is done except that we have to close these 5 beads here. We have to stitch around these 5 beads at the end. And the more you make of these, you know, you'll see the faster they go, which is really helpful when you're, you know, creating pieces, beaded beads, necklaces, earrings, whatever. You don't want to spend all day making a structure if you can help it. Okay. So there it is. Now there's maybe, I'm going to say, there's a few minutes, maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes of reinforcing to do on this structure until it stops being floppy, right? And it starts being a well-formed structure. And that's all there is to it. There you have it. Go ahead, start making beaded beads for yourself. Use them as necklaces or earrings or whatever. And I will see you in the next video.